You skipped breakfast again. You forced yourself through another workout. You cut the sugar. You counted the calories. And somehow, your waist kept growing. Your energy kept crashing. And every blood test seemed to whisper the same frustrating words. You're becoming insulin resistant. So you blamed yourself. Maybe you weren't disciplined enough. Maybe you cheated too often. Maybe your body was just broken. But here's the part nobody talks about. What if insulin resistance wasn't the disease? What if it was your body's desperate attempt to protect itself from something happening deep inside your cells? That question changes everything, because millions of people spend years trying to lower blood sugar without ever understanding why their body raised insulin in the first place. They fight the symptom while the real problem quietly spreads beneath the surface. And by the time most people hear the words prediabetes, the biological story has already been unfolding for years. Not because you ignored it, because nobody explained it. Here's the critical thing to understand. Your body is not trying to sabotage you. It's trying to survive. Imagine every cell in your body as a busy warehouse. Insulin is the delivery driver carrying boxes of glucose. Under normal conditions, the warehouse opens its doors, unloads the packages, and uses them for energy. Simple, efficient, healthy. But your energy kept slipping. But your energy kept slipping, while the warehouse is already overflowing. Eventually, the manager stops opening the doors. Not because deliveries are bad, because there's nowhere left to put them. That's remarkably similar to what happens inside insulin-resistant cells. The doors begin responding less and less to insulin's signal. Not out of laziness, out of protection. Your body is saying, I can't safely store any more right now. And here's where it gets counterintuitive. Most people think insulin only controls sugar. It doesn't. Insulin is one of the most powerful storage hormones in the human body. Every time it rises, it asks a simple question. Should we burn energy or store it? If insulin stays elevated for long periods, your cells receive the same message again. Store, again, store, again, store. Eventually, that message never really stops. I know, that sounds strange, because we've been taught that high blood sugar is the problem. But long before blood sugar climbs dramatically, insulin often stays elevated behind the scenes, working overtime just to keep glucose looking normal. That's why many people feel exhausted after meals, even while their blood sugar appears acceptable. Their pancreas is working harder than anyone realizes. Here's what most people completely miss. Researchers at Harvard and other major institutions have spent years studying why this happens, and the answer isn't simply eating too much sugar. It's about the constant biological signals your body receives. Every snack, every stressful night, every hour of poor sleep, every period of inactivity. They all become messages. Some messages tell your cells it's safe to repair. Others tell them survival comes first. One pathway sits right in the middle of that decision. It's called mTOR. Think of mTOR as the construction manager of your cellular city. When nutrients are abundant, mTOR tells workers to build. Build proteins. Build tissues. Build growth. Growth is essential. Without it, you couldn't heal or maintain muscle. But here's the surprising part. Construction crews can't rebuild forever. Eventually, someone has to stop building long enough to clean the streets, repair damaged machinery, and recycle broken materials. That's where another system quietly waits in the background. A system that fascinated Nobel Prize-winning scientist Yoshinori Ohsumi because of its extraordinary ability to clean damaged cellular components. Most people have heard its name. Very few understand when it actually switches on. And here's where everything changes. Because if one biological signal keeps drowning out that cleaning system day after day, your cells slowly lose the opportunity to restore themselves. The consequences don't appear overnight. They build silently for years. And the molecule responsible isn't the one most people blame. It's something hiding in plain sight. It's insulin. Not because insulin is your enemy, because constant insulin changes the conversation happening inside your cells. That's the difference almost nobody explains. Here's the part nobody talks about. Your pancreas isn't trying to hurt you. It's working harder because your cells have stopped listening. So it releases even more insulin, hoping they'll finally respond. For a while, it works. Then it doesn't. Your cells become even less responsive. Your pancreas pushes even harder. A vicious cycle begins. And most people never feel it happening until fatigue, stubborn weight gain, and rising blood sugar finally appear. Your body wasn't failing. It was adapting. Stay with me. This is the part that matters. High insulin doesn't just encourage energy storage. It also keeps telling pathways like mTOR that food is plentiful. When that signal rarely fades, your cells spend more time building than maintaining. The cleanup crews get fewer opportunities to recycle damaged components through autophagy, the remarkable recycling process that fascinated Nobel Prize winner Yoshinori Ohsumi. Think of it like a city that never closes construction sites long enough to repair broken roads. Eventually, traffic slows, repairs pile up. The whole system becomes less efficient. Most people never realize this. The goal isn't to eliminate insulin. Without it, you couldn't survive. The goal is to restore healthy periods when insulin naturally rises and naturally falls. That's how your biology was designed. Here's what changes everything. Start with your morning. Eat a breakfast built around 25 to 35 grams of protein, eggs, plain Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, or tofu. Add fiber from berries or vegetables. This slows glucose absorption and reduces the insulin surge that often follows refined carbohydrates alone. By midday, take a brisk 20 to 30-minute walk after lunch. Your muscles can pull glucose from the bloodstream more efficiently during movement, reducing the amount of insulin your body needs to produce. And here's the critical thing to understand. Stress matters just as much as food. Chronic cortisol signals your body that survival comes first. That can make insulin resistance worse over time. Even 10 minutes of slow breathing, a walk outdoors, or stepping away from constant notifications can help lower that stress signal. As evening arrives, finish your final meal at least 2 to 3 hours before bed whenever possible. This gives insulin time to decline before sleep, allowing your body to shift more attention toward repair instead of constant digestion. Then protect your sleep. Aim for 7 to 9 consistent hours. A single night of poor sleep can temporarily reduce insulin sensitivity, Night after night, that effect compounds. Clean first, rebuild second, repeat. These aren't isolated habits. They're biological signals stacking on top of one another. One protein-rich breakfast won't transform your metabolism. One walk won't erase years of insulin resistance. But repeated every day, these signals teach your cells that they no longer need to stay in emergency mode. And that's where hope begins. Not with perfection, with consistency. Your body is constantly listening. Every meal, every step, every hour of sleep becomes part of the message you're sending your cells. The surprising part is that insulin resistance is only one chapter of the story. In the next episode, you'll discover why tiny structures called mitochondria may decide